right? So, obviously I'm Abhiram, Prabhupada's Abhiram. We're all Prabhupada's disciples, whatever generation, but I was called to be Srila Prabhupada's nurse by Srila Prabhupada himself in mid-77. I had traveled with him as a temple president of Calcutta quite a bit. You could say mostly all of 76 and 77, except when he was out of India, and then I wasn't out at the Rishikesh trip. Otherwise, I was at every trip, and my wife was often Shruti-Rupa, his cook, for much of that time. So then he asked me, so I joined in July as his nurse, as Prabhupada described it, in July 77. Okay. So many things happen, and that's for another time. But today we're focusing on one particular incident. As history has informed us all, Prabhupada left Vrindavan on his way to America, and in the process we stopped in London and went to the Bhaktivedanta Manor. While at the manor, now Srila Prabhupada was quite unwell by this point, and he basically didn't get out of his bed, except I would carry him to the bathroom or bathe him, or we would put him on the mat on the floor in the sunshine there and give him massage, usually Upendra and myself at this time. And because of his lack of circulation, I was massaging him probably at least 3-4 hours in a day. It wasn't an intense massage like when Shruta and Harisari Prabhu and others were doing. It was more of a mild, just to keep the lymph and the circulation of blood moving. So I was sitting on his bed, as I often did, massaging this side of the right side. And Tamal came in, as he did regularly, to read letters to Prabhupada, which were usually letters that would comfort him or make him happy. Difficult management decisions and things, Prabhupada had said very clearly he didn't want to deal with it, and Tamal was mostly dealing with it. And sometimes I was answering letters also. Mostly just for the footnote, people can get pretty riled up about this. Mostly we would take, most of the questions were pretty obvious. We'd just take quotes from Prabhupada's books, answer them, and if there was a particularly, unique question, we would suggest an answer, and we would always take it to Prabhupada and ask for his approval. Is this okay? Either say that, or he would say something, and we would correct what we had said. So essentially, Prabhupada was answering the letters via our efforts. So Tamal came in, was mid-morning. I was doing that massage thing. And he was reading letters from devotees, and a letter came from Siddhaswarupananda Goswami. Now, I was, as you know, middle management, temple presidents, three different times, and other responsibilities. So I didn't know Siddhaswarup really well. I just knew of the history because I was around when he joined in, and I had heard all the things that had happened secondhand. And so as far as I knew, he had been alienated because he couldn't feel comfortable with the other leaders. He was himself a leader, and he had, according to their vision, not earned his stripes like they had. He had just come in, suddenly occupied this very elevated position and influential position, and so naturally there was some clashing. So I just assumed he had left already at least a year or two before. He had gone away. This is 77 now. But naturally I was happy to hear from him. I had no feelings against him. So Tamal started reading the letter. And in the letter, Siddhaswarup said, "I wish that I could give you my youth and trade you so that you could use it properly, because certainly you would use it better than me." And Prabhupada was listening carefully. And it was a proper letter to someone who's ill. You know, it was a very sweet letter, a very loving letter, and Prabhupada was listening. And he closed the letter by saying, I am a resident of Hawaii, and I hope that if you should ever think of Hawaii, you may also think of me. And I was looking up at Tamal because it was such a sweet gesture, you know, I was looking up. And suddenly I heard Prabhupada's throat gurgle, and I looked down. The tears had already reached to the level of his mouth. They'd shot down because it was a moment. It wasn't, you know, a long time. It was just a moment. The tears had already come to here. And I was shocked. And then Prabhupada uttered out, and I'll try to imitate how he did. I am always thinking of you. I can never forget. Just like that. So you can all say whatever you like. I really don't care. I heard it from the proper authority. That was Prabhupada's mood about Siddhaswarup. And that's my testimony.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.